Undefeated Ohio State is in the Big Ten championship game. That sounds pretty normal. Playing undefeated Indiana. I realize they've been on a collision course. We've known Indiana's good all season. It still looks weird to see 12-0 Indiana versus 12-0 Ohio State with a single-digit spread.
Yeah.
Curt Cignetti is a miracle worker.
Yeah. I don't know where this is going to go. I'm sure the entire public is going to be on Ohio State because it's Ohio State. Like, I think that, like, my general viewpoint on this is if you can get Ohio State by less than 6 points against anybody, that's probably a good bet. And, like, Ohio State has been a covering machine. I think Tyler Shoemaker said that during their 16-game run, since Ohio State lost to Michigan last year, they've won 16 games in a row, and 7 of those opponents have been ranked. Obviously, that happens when 4 of the games in a row are in the playoff. But I think they're 15-1 against the spread during that streak, too. So, like, I find this intriguing because Indiana is a wagon. They beat the crap out of everybody. They have a win over Oregon on the road. That's a legitimizing win. But is there a part of you in your stomach that is not quite sure if they are equipped to beat Ohio State? Because it's one thing to be a top 10 team in America. It's one thing to be a legitimate program that people accept you as a playoff team without giving you crap because of the logo on your helmet. It is a completely different thing to play Ohio State on an indoor field on a neutral site and beat them. Like, where are you at with Indiana in terms of your confidence in their ability to do so?
This is not an Indiana thing for me. I'm not sure there's anybody that can beat this Ohio State team. All these teams we've just talked about, I'm not sure any of them can beat Ohio State. So
yeah,
that's the issue. It's not a dig at Indiana. It's just that I was wrong last year when I said that Ohio State team was the last super team. No. This is probably better than that team.
Yeah.
So Indiana's awesome. It may be that they're running into a team that is just absolutely stacked beyond belief, and there's no other team like that in the country.
Well, here's the other
my only worry.
And I don't mean to bring this up, but we have to admit it. How much does Ohio State care right now? Like, they should care. They haven't won the Big Ten since 2019.
They're still getting a bye if they lose, right? As long as neither team gets blown out, they're getting a bye.
Yeah,
right?
I think both teams are probably pretty safe with their byes. And at the very least, if they were to fall to 5, that means you're probably playing James Madison or maybe Duke
or Tulane or North Texas. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And at home, you probably feel pretty good about your chances of winning. Like, Ohio State's best players were banged up against Michigan. Like, I just don't. They're playing, though. They're playing. I don't know how fired up. And it's like, the hope is that I feel like Indiana probably cares more about this than Ohio State does. Like,
I would assure you they do. Assure you.
The care factor, I think, is something to consider.
Though I will say, I think Ryan Day is the type of coach who will impress upon his team the importance of when you have a chance to raise a trophy, raise the trophy.
Yeah.
That is a very Ohio State way of thinking. There's a reason Ohio State's been so good for so long. Like, that sort of thing is ingrained in the program.
And I still think people should care about their conference championships. It's a shame that, I think that the college football playoff is great. I love that we have all this discourse about who should be in and who should be out, all that stuff. It's really awesome. It's very engaging. I love the reality television show. I don't like the thought process or the byproduct of the playoff, which is we don't need to care about other trophies because we only care about the one. When there's only one team that's going to be able to hoist that trophy. I still think that winning the SEC should matter a lot to those people.
Well, and you and I just saw what it means to care about a game that maybe the playoff rendered less important. We just watched Ohio State celebrate a win in Ann Arbor in person.
Yeah.
They certainly cared.
But like,
they didn't need that win, but they sure as hell cared. If you would like to attend any of these conference championship games we're talking about, the Big Ten is probably the one that everybody wants to go to. That would be Ohio State and Indiana, undefeated, both teams, in Indianapolis. Obviously, hot ticket because the Hoosiers have never played in this game before. It's right down the road from Bloomington. Obviously, many of their graduates live in Indianapolis. It is a tough ticket. High 300s is the lowest price. You can get really good seats in the thousands, but this is a big deal for everybody. It's going to be a packed stadium. And if you want to get in there, you can get your tickets on Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Redeem the code STAPLES for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, of course. They have tickets to all of these, though. We've talked about the importance of the championship games and would Georgia want to play in the SEC championship game? Well, guess what? Georgia and Alabama fans want to go to the SEC championship game because the cheapest ticket is in the 200s, and it goes up from there.
Yeah.
So you can get in to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and watch those two teams play in Atlanta on Game Time. Download the app, redeem the code STAPLES, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And remember, the price you see is the price you pay. No stupid fees tacked on at the end. Game Time's not going to do that to you. Go to Game Time. Swipe, tap, ticket, go from Game Time.
Nobody cares on the outside, but I still think that Dan Lanning should take pride in his Big Ten championship last year. I think that's
I'm sure he does
on his resume. I know that won't be the prevailing thought or memory from Oregon fans in the nation, but the Big Ten is one of the two toughest conferences to play in. Yeah. Winning it is an important thing.
Ohio State's a 5.5-point favorite. Indiana is coming in trying to prove a point. This will be a tough ticket. We talked about it in the Game Time ad. Like they're expensive tickets, which means that I would imagine there's a lot of Indiana fans that want to make sure they're at this game. I'm excited to see this. I want to know where Indiana really is, and we're going to find out.
I've been to a ton of Big Ten championship games in my life, obviously covering them. This Indiana team might be the best team Ohio State has faced in this setting.
Yes.
There was no team from the Big Ten West during the heyday of the Big Ten championship that was better than
it was always Penn State or Michigan that Ohio State had beaten during the season that was the toughest challenger they faced in the league.
And then they ended up playing Wisconsin or Northwestern or somebody, and like those teams were good.
Or Iowa.
I'm not saying that they weren't good. I'm just saying this Indiana team boat races people. So that said, there isn't a team in college football right now that I would not lay a touchdown in Ohio State's favor. So I will lay that. I'll lay the 5.5.
Mendoza, Fernando. I get that ABBA song in my head every time. He is the best QB Ohio State will have seen this season.
Sure is, bud. You're going to do it?
I still think Ohio State's going to win by more than 5.5.
Are you going to do it? Anytime you can get a spread where Ohio State can still cover if they go to overtime is a game that it's like.
I know that's what I keep thinking. I was like, yeah, if it's close, it'd still be a 7-point win for Ohio State, even in overtime.
I mean, look, it was the same exact spread of the Alabama-Auburn game on Saturday, and who covered. Mm-hmm. It's the same exact scenario, and it looked like Alabama was going to maybe lose for most of it, and they still covered the spread.
Yeah, no, I'll take Ohio State to cover there. But I am excited. I want that to be an exciting game. I want Indiana to look like Ohio State's equal, because I think if that's true, it means the college football playoff is going to be a lot more fun for everybody.
The question that you have to ask, Andy, and I think that this is an important one, is if Jeremiah Smith isn't feeling his best, or if Carnell Tate tweaks something, and I'm just pointing out like football stuff happens, do you pull them out of this game to make sure that they're 100% healthy? Like, that's the only thing. Like, I wouldn't want to suffer an injury or something to happen to my team in this setting that would jeopardize my ability to compete at the highest
level. I think you're saying that like it's purely an Ohio State thing. Yeah. I would say the same thing about Elijah Surratt on the other side.
Exactly.
They know they're in the playoff too.
They're not banged up though coming into it. So
but he was banged up earlier in the season. He missed a game. So yeah, it is. That's an issue for both teams. I don't think that's unique to Ohio State. So that's your. I'm not going to say your Ohio State bias, because I don't think that's what it is. I think that's our helmet prejudice that has been ingrained in us throughout our lives, thinking that Indiana doesn't belong on the same level, so we couldn't possibly talk about them in the same way. But I think this Indiana team, we can talk about them that way.
Yeah, I think too. Like I've been a pretty big proponent of supporting Indiana's quest both last year and this year. And I do believe that Indiana is a peer of Ohio State's. I just was viewing it from the standpoint of winning a Big Ten championship in Bloomington would probably mean more.
I would think it would, because it's a rare occurrence.
Yeah.